Did you know that mice are smarter than you think? Like they can recognize themselves in the mirror, plan for the future, and even use tools? But they're not just smart problem solvers. They're also surprisingly good at social skills. For example, they can remember the face of their mousemate and recognize their own babies. And they also have excellent communication skills. They squeak to tell each other where the food is and who's around. But these clever creatures aren't just good at social skills and problem solving, they're also really good at avoiding danger. They can remember the location of predators and avoid their presence, which is why cat videos are so satisfying to us humans. Mice can also learn from their peers and copy their behavior, which means that if one mouse learns a new route to get food, the other mice in the group can learn it too. But perhaps the most impressive thing about mouse intelligence is their ability to adapt to new situations. When given a chance, they can learn new tasks quickly and apply what they've learned to different situations. This means that mice can learn to solve problems in ways that we wouldn't even think of. So next time you see a mouse, don't just think of it as a tiny rodent. Think of it as a highly intelligent creature with a complex social life and a whole lot of skills. But what makes mice so smart? Well, it's a combination of factors. First, they have a lot of neurons. In fact, mice have more neurons than any other mammal of comparable size. Second, mice are highly motivated animals. They're always looking for food and trying to avoid being eaten, which means they're willing to take risks and try new things. Finally, mice are very social creatures. They live in groups and interact with each other a lot. This means they have a lot of opportunities to learn from each other and develop new skills. Now let's take a look at some of the experiments that show just how smart mice are. In one experiment, researchers gave mice a choice between two levers, one that dispensed food and one that delivered a mild electric shock. At first, the mice were hesitant and tried both levers. But once they figured out which lever led to the food, they stuck with it. Even when the researchers changed the location of the levers, the mice were able to transfer what they de-learned to the new situation and still avoid the shock. This shows that mice are not only smart, but they can also apply what they've learned to new situations. In another experiment, researchers wanted to see if mice could recognize themselves in the mirror. They painted a dot on the nose of each mouse and then placed them in front of a mirror. At first, the mice were confused and tried to touch their reflection. But after a few days, they began to realize that the mirror image was themselves and spent more time looking at their own noses. This shows that mice have a sense of self-awareness, which is something we typically associate with much larger animals like apes and dolphins. Finally, in another experiment, researchers wanted to see if mice could remember the face of their mousemate. They paired up male and female mice and then separated them. After a while, they showed the mice pictures of their mates and saw that the mice were able to pick out their mates from a group of unfamiliar mice. This shows that mice have excellent social memory and are able to recognize familiar faces even after a long period of time. So the next time you see a mouse, remember that they're not just small rodents. They're highly intelligent creatures with excellent social skills, problem-solving abilities, and a whole lot of neurons. They can recognize themselves in the mirror, remember the faces of their mates, and learn from their peers. They're also highly adaptable and can apply what they've learned in one situation to another. So don't underestimate these little guys. They may be small, but they're definitely not stupid. And if you want to learn more about the amazing world of mice or any other topic, all you have to do is ask your question. And our team of experts will create an educational video just like this one. So keep asking questions and keep learning because there's so much more to discover.